we don't do extremes in this fat loss program because you don't have to go to extremes. And I think that's the main thing that I hope our conversations like bring about, because we were both very deep in the dogma, like very, very deep.
Can we talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah.
I want to sympathize with people who are there because
Yeah.
it's really easy to get pulled back into it. Okay. It's really easy to question yourself because you see
Yeah.
strategic marketing from somebody else that's saying something completely different from what you currently believe. And when your belief system is constantly being challenged, like in one scroll, you see 15 different opinions saying different things. It is so overwhelming. You can take bits and pieces from different things and make it into your own.
Welcome back to the Rooted in Resilience podcast. We have taken a little bit of a break from our podcast episodes, but we are back for a new season of the Rooted in Resilience podcast. And I'm joined by my sister, Sarah, but in a different home. So I am recording at the original farmhouse, and Sarah is at her home. Guys, there have been so many changes this year. So many exciting things happening behind the scenes. So we'll start with a little bit of an update there, and then also discuss some things that we've been sent about some things that are happening in the carnivore space. We don't pay attention to that or read on the reg. We've just been emailed multiple times through our weekly newsletter. If you're not signed up for our weekly newsletter, click the link below to sign up. And we've been receiving some emails there. And yeah, so hi, Sarah.
Hello. I feel like I am a guest on this podcast now, but thank you for joining me, Ashley. I don't know. Yeah. So I guess we were going to start with some updates. So I'm in a different house. I moved. Have we ever recorded since I moved?
Honestly, I don't know. It's been a really long time.
I'm not sure.
Guys, this year's been I'm like not gonna like paint a nice pretty picture. Like this has probably been the hardest year of my life, I would say, confidently.
Yeah.
I'm not putting any blame on you. There were so many changes. Like, yo, I lived with my homie, my sister for 10 years. And then no. But on top of that, the website I think aged me like 37 years, maybe.
Are you building the Nourish website?
Yeah, that aged me. But I think things have a way of working out for the best, and like coming full circle, things will be okay. Things will be okay.
I think maybe you can look at it as, while that work was very stressful, at the same time it's a massive passion project. So in a way, it's
Oh,
also really fulfilling your soul. So the age will even itself out.
yeah. Yeah. Reverse aging. It's okay. I'll gain all that back. It's fine.
Yeah, you will. You still look like you're 12. So
Always parted.
guys, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like if you look at Ashley picture when she was an infant, and then when she's like 8, and then when she's 15, and then when she's 20, like her face, she has actually not changed. Looks the exact
For
same.
better or for worse, I don't know.
No, it's a good thing. Like I will be told like, "Oh, you're the older sister, right?" Like as in like you're aging, and then Ashley's like she's still the same. It's wonderful.
But I really am happy for my sister and her husband, and we'll be able to talk about it more soon. But y'all, the vision of the family compound is really coming to fruition. And we're excited to document and share that journey with you guys. We want Sarah's family on the compound, my future family on the compound, our parents on the compound, just back to everyone being in a very close area. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So in 2020, is it 2025? So 2026, there will be more changes. So right now I'm in this house. So Brandon and I moved in here, and we're just I get 1 year of suburb life. So I'm in a suburb, and and the next year we will be moving out. But for now, I am rocking my suburb vibes. I take walks around the block all the time with the dogs, and I really people watch and observe my neighbors, and I'm really just, I like to keep tabs on what everybody's doing. It's a very interesting life. It's very different from when I lived on the farm and like all there is animals.
I'll pass.
I just had to get it out of my system. So I'm here now, and yeah, Brandon and I are. I feel like I've already had a podcast where we've said that, like the idea of starting a family, and we kind of still haven't done that because things have been so busy with work. So like we're actively trying to conceive, but still like a priority. So maybe this upcoming season, I actually saw Kathleen. So Kathleen, one of the coaches on Transform, one of the other founders of our Transform Fat Loss program. You guys have seen all of our podcasts with Kathleen, but she posted something really cool about how there's something about the upcoming months in the season of winter, I guess, so late autumn, winter, that a lot more fertility, or sorry, a lot more people, a lot of couples conceive.
Fertility maxing.
Yeah, because just many different factors, whether you slow down more, you're inside more, you're warmer, you're getting cozy. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a phenomenon, and I'm hoping
Well,
to land onto that phenomenon.
I think it has to do with the light hours, total light hours, and because this is a pattern that we see in goats and lamb as well, where they're like we used to have 10 dairy goats on the farm, and their window of getting pregnant was only in the fall.
Oh,
October,
okay.
November. October, November, only months we had to get the buck in.
Well, we're gonna send that to October, November, December, January, February, March. Just give me all of the time that I can.
I think it has something to do with the seasonal changes and total light hours.
Yes.
And yeah.
It was a really cool post. Anyway, if you're in the same kind of boat as me, just know our season is coming.
Yes.
Okay,
And
that's my
if you're in the same season of life as me, the season is somewhere ahead.
wait. Yes. So, yes, that. How about you? What's up?
Oh, I really am tired, but I really liked what you said. It really is a passion project, and that it drains you differently, right? It doesn't when I was doing my grad
Soul sucking.
Yeah, when I was doing my grad school work, finishing up my PhD, that was very soul sucking because it was someone else's like research project, right? And then when it's your own company and what you're really passionate about, yes, it's draining, but you can like turn and look back on it and reflect on it. It's very fulfilling, and there's so many good things ahead. Like truly, I really am blessed. I'm not here to complain about anything because at the end of the day, um, it's an incredible opportunity to do what we do, right? So like I'm not here to complain, but I'm not going to pretend like it's not a lot of work. I think people think that I'm literally on the farm all day, like I'm out with the animals all day, but I don't think people understand how much computer work is required with everything that we do. Like my laptop records, screen time, and it's like yelled at me all year because my screen time has gone way up. But it's time to get the walking treadmill or walking treadmill. What else do you do on a treadmill? Under the desk treadmill set up and the red light chicken lamp set up as we shift into the colder seasons. It's time to optimize that workspace to be warming, right? Give the heat from the chicken lamp. And then also, there's less time to go outside. We have fall back this Sunday. So we
It's
get less, yeah, we get even less time. So it's the season.
yeah, the season is coming.
Yeah. But yeah, we've
Yeah.
got fun things ahead. So Transform Fat Loss Program with Coach Kathleen and Coach Tyler. New group starts in January. And so definitely, guys, join the link in the description below to join that wait list so that you're first notified because every group sells out relatively quickly, each group. So make sure you join that, getting things in place for that. With Nourish, we're working on this really cool heritage sourdough project with a bunch of really ancient and heritage greens that I just digest so much better. And then all these like sourdough products made from that. What else is happening with Nourish? Oh, charcuterie, still waiting for the government to approve our labels after like 8, 9 months. But a lot of exciting things with Nourish as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off with
The topic of the day.
topic of the day, which
Yeah.
is why is keto and carnivore not working for some people? And to start, if keto and carnivore works for you, I'm truly so happy for you. Like, I'm not here to tell you do not do it. But I think everyone has to acknowledge that there are people out there saying that keto and carnivore is the only way, is the answer. And if it's not working for you, you're eating too low protein or too high protein or not enough fat or too high of fat. And your artificial sweeteners are causing this. And it's causing a lot of frustration for people where it's not working because they feel like they are a failure. And I think that frustration is mounting. And there's also a few people in the carnivore space who are no longer carnivore and who have had health issues from being long-term carnivore. And this is like relatively recent. So like top hot off the press type of thing, I guess. So yeah, kick us off with the email.
Okay. So the reason we stumbled onto this topic, because for the record, Ashley and I are not in this community anymore. So like this is not a part of our normal day to day is like, what are the carnivores up to?
No,
It's
no, no.
not. The thought doesn't cross the mind. Um,
Wait, this is an email sent from someone on our newsletter list.
so with that said, as some of you, most of you know, we did start our health journey within the keto fasting carnivore world. It's almost been like 6 years now since that. And so we do have a lot of people who have seen our journey in, doing all that and then coming out of it and what we do now. And so they naturally have questions. So I do get a lot of I answer our Strong Sisters email, and we do happen to get a lot of emails about this topic. It kind of,
Do we still have our YouTube videos up when we were carnivore?
please don't remind individuals that these exist. I don't know. Let's just not confirm or
No,
deny.
but I think that is an important thing to mention because there are some people who may not have followed us during that time. Like, so then we get these people coming to us, well, have you tried keto and carnivore? Or like keto and carnivore are the answer. And it's like, guys, we've been there and we've done that. We have.
Yeah,
And it worked until it didn't for us.
yeah, okay. So, I mean, undeniably, it can change people's lives because they're making improvements. They're getting rid of a lot of, processed foods. And naturally, when you start to change your diet, it's kind of like Kathleen says, the rising tide lifts all boats. So you're not just going to change your diet and still be like, most people are not gonna change their diet and still be doing hard drugs and smoking and doing all this other stuff. Like, your lifestyle changes, improve, so a lot of things can shift in the right direction, but it doesn't have to be the only answer for somebody, especially people dealing with chronic illness. I think that there are so many other options for improving your life, and we've lived that now. My diet is the opposite of keto carnivore, and I'm thriving. So, with all that said, this is the email that I received from a wonderful subscriber. And she said, "Hi, Sarah, or whoever answers this, if you can. I saw you and Ashley years ago on Dr. Sean Baker's carnivore group when you were doing carnivore. I am no longer in Dr. Baker's group, but I do follow Lisa Weidman. Weidman, I think.
Is that carnivore doctor?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's added carbs back in, the good type that you speak about here. So for some context, it was a newsletter about whole food carbs versus basically processed foods. So the email continues. I have a question. Friends of mine swear by Dr. Morse, who says that fruit is all we need. Then Lauren Lockman, who assists people with fasting, says the same thing. Then I saw Bart K's critical video about Dr. Morse, and his advice is dangerous. But then Dr. Andrew Kaufman highlighted Dr. Morse as one of the best known healing assisters in the country. He has had much success helping patients heal, and they swear by him. Can you comment? I've been skeptical. My mother truly believed that meat was the way to go. She hardly ever ate fruits or veggies, and she lived a long life. Although possibly because of situation in her mouth, she got dementia. Any comments would be helpful. I know that we all have to find what works for our bodies. So, this woman, I'm very thankful that she was shared her story and her vulnerability and her questions, and I feel honored that I get to answer these type of questions. But as you can see, a lot of people deal with this. She listed multiple different, people who call themselves health experts and saying all these different opinions. And, this person says this person says this, and then this person said this about what this person said. And you can understand why that would be very confusing for somebody and stressful, especially if somebody like, I think you said her handle was Carnivore Doctor.
Carnivore Doctor is the recent
Right.
carnivore doctor. Ah!
So especially, oh my God, I can see in your window leaves falling.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. So anyway, sorry, it's fall. So, especially when somebody like carnivore Dr. Lisa Weidman.
Which I don't really know that much about, but if it's true that she had been carnivore for 16 years and has recently added carbs back in because she was gaining weight and had high fasting blood glucose, like, wow, I'm very proud of her for speaking about that because the internet is nasty. People are mean. People use their insecurities to project onto other people, and the fact that she has decided to share that with the world, that's incredible, and that really speaks on her morals and principles because she was saying this other path and then recognized that it was no longer serving her. So again, this whole concept of it works until it doesn't. She saw fasting high blood glucose and started to see weight gain after 16 years and has now added carbs back in, and she claims that she's feeling better. She's able to lose weight and her fasting glucose levels have dropped down. So I do not know her. We do not speak like to her, but I'm very proud of her. And I think that that's like a really cool story. But apparently she's being like torn apart by people in the carnivore space. And I think what all of this shows, like you saying the email where someone's saying, this is the answer. No, and then this person says exact contradiction of the other. If something was true, there wouldn't be a group where the exact opposite holds true. If there was a universal principle, then
Yeah.
then there wouldn't be an example of it working. So people saying that like fruit makes you fat, I'm sorry, it doesn't. It doesn't. If
I
it
really
did,
like that. That was a good thing to say. Either if one thing was true, there wouldn't be an exact opposite group that's also true.
exactly. Physiology is physiology, whether we like it or not. And
There's a lot of people thriving on high carb, lower fat diets too.
And there are still people who are doing well on a more moderate high fat, using more saturated animal fats diets and including carbohydrates where it works for them. Like there are people on both sides, and when
The
people
whole
are saying
spectrum. It's not
fruit
even on each
is
side.
toxic and it's poisonous and it's fruit is directly fattening. Guys, go look up fruitarians and tell me that they're fat. Please tell me that they're fat. Then you have people saying, "Oh, fruit is the best and starch is fattening." Okay, go look up the starch solution and look up the hundreds of thousands of people who have lost obscene amounts of weight just eating starches, breads, rice, potatoes. So it's not true. This claim that fruit makes you fat, starch makes you fat. If that were true, there wouldn't be these counter examples. So like these dietary extremes that we're being sold and lied to about, they're quick headline things that people can wrap their head around quickly, but no one is actually understanding the physiology. So if someone in real life, if you have someone that says fruit makes you fat, just respond with a question saying, I'd love to know how. Can you explain the mechanism of how fruit makes you fat? I'd love to hear about it. And if they start bringing
People
up the
just
carb,
say something about like fructose and liver.
that's the easy, yeah. Am I promoting an all fruit diet? No. Am I promoting an all starch diet? No. There's like this beautiful thing in the middle called balance as omnivores. And it's this wonderful thing that cultures around the world have sustained themselves for generations. And it's a very freeing place to be when you realize that one specific food group, like starches, fruit, meat, fat, isn't the like toxin that people are telling you. And instead, it's finding the balance that works for you and is sustainable for you, and that you stay honest with your health and your like body composition and how you're doing day to day based on what you're consuming, your macros, not based on these objective ideas from quote health experts and all the dogma that come in those communities.
Yeah. And it's not like you have to acknowledge that these people are all just trying to help people, which I think is wonderful. And like that shouldn't be something that is seen as a bad thing. But when we start to make videos about other people who say something differently or have come out, like carnivore doctor Lisa, and we start to make videos countering her own experience and saying, like, oh, she didn't do this, or she was eating this, or she didn't do this hard enough, that is just toxic. I
We
think
were
that's
we were told that. We were told that.
yeah, oh, there were yeah, there were a lot of things
One
like, "Oh,
group
these
was like,
girls."
"You didn't eat enough protein," and then the other group was like, "You didn't eat enough fat." And it's
Yeah.
like, which one do I please?
No, I know, so you just don't, but that is where there's confusion and why it's very frustrating when I do see these emails because I just wanna give this woman a hug and just say, "Please just don't we don't need to subscribe to that noise anymore." I think it's noise. And instead, like she acknowledged at the end of her email, I know that we all have to find what works for our bodies. And if we all truly were on a mission to do that, we wouldn't be seeking out the quote expertise or somebody else's like like experience and trying to make that our own by just mimicking what they're doing or just following their suggestions blindly because that's not actually listening to your body. So that's why what Lisa, I don't know if I should call her Lisa Weidman or Carnivore Doctor, so I'm just gonna call her Carnivore Doctor. That's why what Carnivore Doctor has done is really admirable
Yeah.
because she's actually listening to her body and implementing what it's asking for, and she's seeing results because she's listening and not just trying to push it even further in one direction because that's what XYZ says to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think acknowledging that keto, low carb, carnivore, it can work for someone to lose weight. Like when you remove an entire food group, carbohydrates, that's removing an insane amount of calories from your day. So of course you're going to drop into a calorie deficit, but can you
Sort of. But sometimes when you add to like fat is the most calorically dense macro, so it is not a satiating experience for a lot of people, and then they end up just eating a lot of calories, or they eat too little. Like there's
yeah.
a lot of things that could go wrong there with if you're not tracking.
Exactly. Like can it work? Yes. Does it need to be the only way? No. And I think that that's where we need to start having these conversations, right? Because there's this messaging of the carbohydrate insulin model of obesity and diabetes that if you raise your insulin by eating carbohydrates, you're not going to lose weight. Guys, that's not true. Like I'm sorry, it's not true. I actually don't wish it was true because I love carbohydrates and I'm happy that it's not true. You can lose weight while consuming carbohydrates. We've seen it over and over and over again. If it
Yeah.
was true, we wouldn't see these other examples of people
If
losing
it
weight
was
well.
true, I wouldn't be at like my healthiest, most sustainable body that I've ever been in after going through our transform program. And it just wouldn't It it wouldn't that wouldn't be possible because my diet is like 70% carbs.
So I think like what I want to create a message to people is like if it's working for you, amazing. Keto, carnivore, and you're losing weight and you're accomplishing your goals and you're feeling great, incredible. If it's not working for you, you don't have to keep hitting your head against the wall and there is plenty of other ways to do it. Personally, carnivore, reflecting back, it was really sad to just eat brown things on a plate all day. Like I will never go back to that because my life is so much more fulfilling being able to create traditional ancestral recipes. It's more fun. It's more colorful. There's more taste. There's more variety. It's sustainable. And I don't have cravings because I'm able to eat and craft what I want. You can do that too and still lose weight and still lose fat and improve your health. And we've seen this in our Transform group. There are plenty of menopausal women in our Transform group that have lost weight eating carbohydrates. Guys, if you reach menopause, you all of a sudden don't just lose your ability to deal with carbs. Yes, or there's some differences, but we've seen it time and time again in all of our transform groups. Premenopausal, menopausal women are losing weight consuming carbohydrates. So there is another way. And I think that carnivore doctor Lisa, her message is helping people who are really trapped in that dogma start to like see the other ways. And I think that that's awesome.
Yeah. I think we should like even if somebody if carnivore is working for somebody, as you said, I think that's wonderful. Like we should all be blessed with finding a way that of eating that we think is super sustainable and makes us feel great. We shouldn't poo-poo that it didn't work for somebody else, you know? Like let's celebrate her that she's found something that's working for her. She's lost some weight and she's feeling better. That's what we're all after. Not we don't all have to lose weight, but we're all after feeling our best. And so anyway, what you said about the postmenopausal woman is so huge because we, for whatever reason, we get a lot of that age group who emails us, and
We
that's in
love y'all. We love
that's
y'all.
love you. Um, and there is so much confusion and self-doubt that anything is going to work for them, like almost like they're just like, I have been told that I'm going to blow up and have all these health issues and be unable to lose any fat once I reach this age. And I am not there yet. I am not postmenopausal, so I can't speak from experience, but we have seeked out numerous women who are at this stage of life. And we have not only worked with them, but we've interviewed them, like Kate Deering. You should go check out our interview with Kate Deering. And they have been incredible examples of women who have not had to go to extremes to make things work for them. They actually like stopped the extremes and found balance and hit their foundational things that Ashley and I call like the foundations of health. They do that every day and they have made such incredible progress. One of the women that we actually just interviewed to be an upcoming coach in our transform group is the like an incredible example of this. Her name's Julie and she reversed her calories up in our transform program from she was eating a very little amount and then she reversed her calories up, started eating more and more. She didn't gain weight because she did it very strategically within our program with the coach's oversight. She started implementing the strength training that we promote in the program and all the different lifestyle habits. And she got to a point where her body was responding enough that she was able to go through the cut, so the fat loss stage of the program. And she lost, what did she say, 10,
Yeah.
15 pounds or something?
I think it was
Something,
10.
10 pounds or something? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And she's kept it off
And she's kept it off and
while
she's still
increasing her
getting
calories.
her calories back up. So that is that process avoids the extremes and it gets the foundations in place. So whatever you accomplish within that is sustainable. It's not something that you're going to go yo-yo back and forth once again. Anyway, she's a prime example because she is in that menopausal area of her life and she was struggling and she sees her friends, struggling and I feel like a lot of that age group is being targeted by the different medications you could take for fat loss.
GLP-1.
Yeah. And that is so unfortunate because it's just trying to take this like quick uh basically what you're doing is kind of starving your body in that scenario and you're going to atrophy your muscles. So
Long-term consequences are so bad.
yeah, you're gonna start losing muscle mass, and I one of, like, the most incredible things about having adequate muscle mass is the protection against things like dementia and Alzheimer's and any sort of atrophy of the brain, and when you reduce your muscle mass so significantly by going to these extreme low-calorie diets, you're just lowering your metabolism more and you're getting yourself into this hole of eating low calorie and assuming your body's going to adapt to that and you're not going to be able to lose weight and that's probably a little bit of what carnivore doctor was not that she was atrophying, but I don't know exactly how many calories she was eating, but I have seen women who have come through our course who have been in the situation where they're eating such low calories, but they're not losing weight. They're actually just like maintaining their fat, or they feel like they're even gaining fat. And a lot of it is because their body has adapted to that low of calories. They've lost muscle mass. Their metabolism's not very low. And that doesn't mean you can't come back from that. But we have to do something else to come back from that, you know? You can't just keep trying to eat less and less, because you will die. That is starvation.
Yeah. I think that, again, if it's working for you, amazing. But the consistent trends that we see over and over and over again is someone sees initial weight loss results, whether that's water from glycogen depletion or if there is a little bit of fat loss, and they're not tracking their calories. They don't know how much they're eating. So then they eat less and less and less. And metabolic adaptation happens where the body is smart, right? It's like, oh, crap, there's not many calories coming in. I've got to downregulate metabolism in order to survive. And it's this continuous downregulation of metabolism over time, over time, over time. And they start relying more on gluconeogenesis, which means they convert protein, whether that's dietary protein or literally protein from your muscle. Yes, your body like will start eating your muscle to convert that into carbohydrates for your body to use, because we have a baseline requirement of carbohydrates in our body. Gluconeogenesis ramps up. Stress hormone pathways ramp up. Not necessarily, there's some like adaptation to cortisol over time, but glucocorticoids, very elevated. All of these are creating an internal environment that leads to muscle wasting. And you see this with longer term people, some people, longer term on keto carnivore, they see gradual muscle wasting. And then if you take a step back, in the same community, they talk about the importance of muscle. And so if muscle is so important for, avoiding what they're calling type 3 diabetes, like dementia in the brain, and like we all know how important muscle is. If there's any chance of losing muscle going one pathway, why would we even risk it? And I'm going to talk about this in my newsletter. So again, sign up for Strong.Sistas newsletter. I'm going to talk about this recent study. I took a screenshot of it that came out, and it was two maintenance calorie diets, one keto and one just, more moderate carb. And it was an 8-week study, and the keto diet group lost muscle mass and the moderate carb group gained muscle mass. And so there are differences in these things over time. And so I think, again, if your main goal is weight loss, fat loss, and it's working for you, that's amazing. And with our transform group, we are not saying that it's the only way. We're not. Hey, if there's another way that works for you, amazing. But transform fat loss program is a way, and it is a scientifically sound way with real world results, hundreds of fat loss stories from a wide variety of ages. And if you're looking for that structure, if you're confused and you want that group accountability and you want to do a program that works and you're sick and tired of trying things and running on a hamster wheel, Transform waitlist link is below and we start the next group in January. Like stop spinning your wheels. If you're tired, frustrated, confused, just join the waitlist below. But we don't do extremes. We don't do extremes in this fat loss program because you don't have to go to extremes. And I think that's the main thing that I hope our conversations like bring about, because we were both very deep in the dogma, like very, very deep. And it was,
Can we talk about that a little bit more?
yeah,
The dogma part?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Because I want to sympathize with people who are there, because
yeah,
it's really easy to get pulled back into it. Okay. Like even for somebody who, you know, posts online and we talk about one thing, and it's really easy to question yourself because you see
yeah,
strategic marketing from somebody else that's saying something completely different from what you currently believe. And when your belief system is constantly being challenged and you're seeing all these different opinions, and you're like in one scroll, you see 15 different opinions saying different things, that is extremely conflicting for your soul, literally everything. It is so overwhelming. And I I don't know that a lot of people understand that you can take bits and pieces from different things and make it into your own. Like you don't have to be 100% compliant with this diet or this to see success. Like you can you can understand from carnivore that saturated fat is not bad for you, but then you can
And that
also
animal protein is a great protein, like
yeah.
B vitamins, complete amino acid profiles, zinc, all these incredible nutrients.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you can also understand from, let's say, the starch solution that starch is not fattening and that it's a very satiating, mineral-rich, grounding food
That's been a staple of traditional food cuisines all over the world. Like every traditional cuisine in every country had some sort of staple starch.
I love it. You're like a little voice on my shoulder. All right, ready? I got one more. And then there's the fruitarians. What we can learn from them is that fruit is so hydrating and it's so good for your thyroid, for your liver, for everything, for your metabolism.
Hashtag electrolytes.
Yeah, and you don't have to do like, celebrate those that are doing the extremes and it's working for them, but like, take a step back and realize, like, "Oh, I like that about that, and I like that about that." Like, "Oh, I'm forming my own diet." I've had to do this so many times. Like, I've had to realize, "Sarah, it's okay that what you're doing isn't exactly what this specific group says, because you have the right and the ability to find something that works for you, and it's not gonna look exactly the same as anybody else." I've had to even do this with Ashley. I've had to take a step back and be like, "All right, this works really well for Ashley, and you know what? This over here works better for me." And, like, it's really hard to cope with that sometimes, especially when you're deep in the weeds of it all, but you have the permission to do that for yourself.
I think we also have to realize that it's not really normal human behavior to be subjected to that many opinions. Like, 200 years ago, we had our community around us and not millions or thousands of other people's opinions. And that's hard to navigate, but it's a thing that we have to recognize is a variable in the modern health space that makes it hard. And just like you do a nice fall cleanup of your home, I recommend doing a nice fall cleanup of your social media feed. Is there people that are giving you extreme anxiety about food every time you watch their content? Is it giving you fear and anxiety, or are you learning more? Are you being empowered to understand the mechanisms? Like, are you just understanding the headlines? Carbohydrates equals bad, high insulin equals bad. Or do you understand that there's nuance to all these things and are you understanding the mechanisms? We got to move past the headline dogma because it's causing people to get really frustrated with themselves when things don't work. And we our friend Suze posted about another carnivore doctor. I think he's a doctor, Dr. Kiltz.
I think he's
Kiltz?
OB/GYN
Kiltz?
actually, or some
Is
he
it Kiltz?
yeah, we could look it up. I
Yeah, I
think
can look it up.
something with, a fertility clinic or something. Um, yeah, Suze, we did a few podcasts with her about the Hadza and her experience in Africa, like, not just going and getting, like, a tourist experience, but a very real experience living with these African tribes. You should really listen to the podcast with her if you're interested in that type of stuff. It was very fascinating to learn about their nutrition and their lifestyle and how the Western world is kind of impacting that. Anyway,
Can I read her post? Because it
yeah,
brings
sure.
that up a little bit. It's actually really beautiful.
Okay.
So this is how we learned about it. Sue's Ancestral Health Foundation posted about, quote, after 15 years on a strict carnivore diet, Dr. Kiltz recently shared his coronary calcium CAC score rose from 700 to 800, revealing significant blockage in all three of his cardiac arteries, along with the diagnosis of acute colitis. Rather than hide this, he chose transparency. Amazing. And that honesty is exactly what the health and nutrition communities need most. Dr. Kiltz's story reminds us that no diet is beyond questioning. Extreme restriction, whether plant free or animal free, can disrupt the balance our ancestors once protected, as many tribes still vow to stay true to their traditional diets. So, again, Suze has traveled the world and visited a number of these tribes. Quote, going back to her post, quote, a meat-only diet can alter the gut microbiome, deplete the fiber-fed bacteria that produce protective short-chain fatty acids, and elevate bile-tolerant inflammatory microbes, potentially setting the stage for intestinal inflammation such as acute colitis and cardiovascular stress. Emerging research also reveals how gut imbalance can extend far beyond digestion. When beneficial fiber-fed bacteria decline, the gut barrier weakens, allowing inflammatory compounds to enter the bloodstream. This gut-heart axis can trigger systemic inflammation, increase atherogenic compounds such as TMAO, and contribute to arterial plaque buildup and higher CAC scores. She linked studies for all of this, and studies have shown that within just days of removing plant foods, beneficial bacteria species decline while inflammatory species increase. I love this line from her. This isn't failure, it's physiology. It takes courage and humility to pivot away from a platform built on certainty, but when our body speaks loud and clear, it's the right thing to do. As a researcher with decades of rigorous research who has lived among the Hasda, Maasai, Dani, I don't know the right pronunciations, and many others, I can confidently say that no population on Earth has ever excluded plants. Their health is built on animal and plant diversity within their region, alongside nature, sunlight, movement, gratitude, community, beliefs, and peace, not dogma. I love you, Suze. That was
I
such a
love
beautiful
Sue so
post.
much. She is a light in this world. She is literally the most enthusiastic and supportive individual with a health story to tell herself. So
Suze,
Sue's
if you're listening, here's a heart and a hug.
great post. So to that, so what happened to Dr. Kiltz here? I have some of the comments on this YouTube video, which I watched his YouTube video about him saying this, that Suze is referencing, and you watched it too. And it was nice, to see somebody just openly saying, like, we just need to, when something's not going right for me, I'm gonna change course. That's okay. That's acceptable. But the comments were problematic because people are nitpicking this man's experience and saying, here's an example. I'm no expert, but I think the most likely suspect is not the beef, it's the Kilt's ice cream, in particular the heavy cream. Before adding vegetables, I would try removing the cream and see what happens to your CAC score in 6 months. Then another person said, many people in the comments are saying you eat a ton of dairy, so why are you misleading people by saying you eat beef only? I quit anything with lactose as it wasn't doing anything at all good for me. So I've there were comments of people saying, like, I've been doing this for this long and my CAC score is low. So obviously we can see that the body is responding differently, but it was very admirable that this man was saying, this he's built his entire business off this. Okay, we have to consider that. He's built his entire fertility clinic off of, I think his Kilt's ice cream is a very popular thing. But we don't need to nitpick him. We don't need to tell him, "Oh, it wasn't the beef, it was the ice cream." Which, by the way, when we're referencing a carnivore ice cream, we're referring to basically heavy cream,
Egg yolks, baby?
period. Yeah, heavy cream and or egg yolks. But very rarely will anybody use a sweetener in that community. So, um, it's just that's not what we need to be doing.
No. And
We need
also,
to
like,
applaud this man for just, making a change to improve his health.
yeah, there's archaeological data showing that we've been consuming dairy for 7,000 years.
Yeah, but
Is it
with that, we haven't been consuming like uh, the a quart or more of heavy cream in a sitting.
exactly. That's what I wanted to
Not
touch on.
to
So,
that.
like, what kills me right now is that we've got food abundance, and so people have completely lost touch with, like, traditions, right? Ancestral traditions, because we just have access to it all right here. Whereas if you take a step back, heavy cream, butter are made from whole milk. And now people demonize whole milk, or sorry, they demonize, like, low fat dairy varieties when they don't realize that in order to make the heavy cream and the butter, they had to pull the fat from the whole milk, and then there was skim milk, fat-free remaining.
When there
Many
wasn't a
cultures
food surplus, they didn't throw that away.
no, they didn't throw it away. So the biggest example is the Icelandic skyr yogurt. This is traditionally made with skim milk because they made a lot of butter. They yes,
They
they
did a
used
lot of cheese too.
a lot of cheese, a lot of butter, and they utilize the fat-free remaining liquid and turned it into this, like, magical thick yogurt called skyr yogurt, SKYR. It's one of my favorite foods, but it's traditionally made 0 fat. And so you see these people adding fat on top of fat on top of fat on top of fat when it's like, hold on, how was that fat made? What was the traditional uses of the byproducts? Did they have, like, in one day, was it possible to have access to whole milk, butter, cream, Uh, what else? Like, all in one day, or was it they used things sparingly and had to make use of this other item too, which balanced their fat to a more moderate approach, you know?
Yeah. You know, I think something interesting about that is I believe in the carnivore doctor. So going back to Lisa, I believe in her post she talked about how she started looking into ancestral diets and recognized that the meat was actually leaner. It was game meat. It wasn't super fatty ribeye steaks. And so that to her was a sign, okay, I haven't really been super ancestral. No, and nobody's saying like you have to be ancestral. Don't do anything that's not ancestral because that's ridiculous. We don't live,
Ancestral AF.
yeah, we don't live in the same world anymore. But it is helpful when you're trying to, let's say, assess an extreme and say, like, okay, does that make sense? It is helpful to think about ancestrally what was going on and be like, would that have been possible?
Yeah.
And that could probably help answer a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, very fatty beef is made possible through the industrial feedlot system where cows are stuffed into feedlots and fed calorie energy dense greens, whereas previously wild ruminants didn't have grain access. They foraged, grazed around, moved, and were traditionally leaner. And so really, really fatty cuts of meat are made possible through industrial agriculture. And that is like something that I think is interesting to reflect on.
Yeah,
And that's like you said, that's something that kind of carnivore doctor spoke about where she realized that, hey, maybe there's a reason that wasn't serving me
yeah,
going with this really high fat approach.
definitely. Ashley, I want to wrap this up and I have a fun question for you that this conversation has made me think of it. Are you good to wrap it up though? Do you have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think the
what's up?
biggest thing is if you just remember that in the end, having very dogmatic beliefs is not living, and it's also very frustrating place to be because at some point, whatever dogma you believe in, it's just not, it's going to stop working. Like very extreme approaches work until they don't. And if you're really holding on to dogma, just try to recognize that and understand where it's coming from. And I promise you that like life past dogma is really beautiful and amazing and freeing. And you can also stop focusing on food fear things
Yeah,
and you can start living life and listening to podcasts that are more well-rounded, not specifically very fear toxic food based and more fulfilling life-wise. And so I've been there. Like I was very deep in that dogma and pulling yourself out and like looking back at it, it was not a very fun place to be. And so I think if you are in that place, just try to pull out and recognize where it's stemming from, where it's coming from. And like I said, do a social media cleanup. Yeah. But that's all.
yeah. So, well, and before the question, and if you are struggling with your weight, if you are struggling to lose fat, you feel like you've tried everything, this is why we created the Transform program. This is the exact program that I went through before my wedding to lose 20 pounds to feel better in my wedding dress. This is the exact program that I went through again this year to drop an additional 10 pounds, and I have sustained it off. So 30 pounds total. I'm feeling my best. I, I wouldn't just be saying this to be saying this. You guys know that we have openly admitted when we were wrong about things, but Transform is one thing that has changed my life entirely, has given me back the feeling that I can take
You're in the driver's seat now, ma'am.
yeah, right, like for a long time, even when we've like fixed a lot of health things for a long time, I still felt like, "Ah, I just, you know what, I can't lose the fat. You know what? This is just, and then I was like, oh, I can't do it. If I keep going to the
No,
gym,
but then Sarah, then you
XYZ.
justified.
No,
You
no, no, exactly. And
justified.
then you justify it, and then it's this long domino effect going in the wrong direction. So anyway, if you are in that situation, even in the pro-metabolic space, okay? Even in that space, if you're still like, everything's great, like I've got my period now and everything, but I'm just 40 pounds overweight. Hello, that is going to contribute to health issues.
Yeah.
An excessive amount of excess fat tissue is not advantageous as you age. So
Wait, real quick. I did the Transform program with you during your wedding last year, and I was at 147 and then I dropped down to 131, and that was officially 13 months ago when I finished. So it's been over a year and I've sustained my weight loss.
Let me just praise my sister really quickly. So she has sustained that, and my homegirl is a little muscle. What'd you deadlift the other day?
It wasn't anything crazy.
Ashley, it was crazy. So yes, we used to power lift, so this number seems small, so she's not gonna say it's crazy, but tell me what it was.
It was something like 340.
Deadlift, like,
I
Ashley. Okay, again, let me just preface this. She's gonna little talk it because we used to deadlift 400 pounds when we power lift. But Ashley, for somebody who doesn't power lift and casually lifts, that is incredible.
Thank you.
Okay.
I am getting older. I'm turning 33 in a few
She's not
weeks.
old.
And so no, but holding on to muscle mass and building muscle mass is like single-handedly the most important thing, one of the most important things for my long-term health, right? And I think for us in our young 30s, oh, my camera just died.
It's okay. You're gonna
Okay.
pick up on this weird view of you.
Okay, okay. For us in our, even in our 20s and our young 30s, like doing what we can now to maximize our muscle, and that's going to set us up for success when we're in our 50s and our 60s. And so holding on to muscle mass is very important to me, and I'm going to do everything that I can to preserve that. And I'm going to pay attention to these research studies that compare low carb versus high carb or moderate carb and things like that. And with my own personal experience, like yeah, I'm proud of the muscle mass that I put on, but I work with Kathleen. I love Kathleen. Kathleen does my programming and that gets implemented into Transform, like the principles and things like that. But like guys, Kathleen is a muscle mommy, She sent me like a selfie update the other day and she's put on so much muscle mass in her upper body. It's like hashtag goals. Kathleen, goals.
Like, the mommy part for me is goals. So
Me too at some point. That season is ahead somewhere.
yeah, the season's coming. So you said muscle maxing, but let me just preface this really quickly. You don't need to go to the gym 5, 6, 7 times a week.
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
this
we're
past year I've
talking
gone
about
2 to 3
two
times.
times.
2 to 3 times a week I've been doing strength training.
It's
2 to
almost
3
like
times.
muscle lazying. Like
No, minimum effective dose.
exactly. So long story short, just
If you are working out every single day, you aren't working out hard enough. I'm sorry. That's it.
okay. So my question for you, I thought this would be fun. In this stage of life, what would you say is the most your nutrition, so your diet? How I don't know how to phrase this question. What traditional culture does your current diet mimic the most closely? Or is there
I love this question so much. This is like the best question I've ever received in my life, and I'm not prepared and I'm embarrassed.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm asking myself.
Oh, I think I know yours.
Do you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, how do we guess? How do I know that you know what I'm saying?
3, 2, 1, go. You
Okinawan.
ready? Oh, that's what I was gonna say!
No, really? I went
No, I was
before
gonna say
you.
Okinawan. Okinawan.
Okay, I said it wrong. Um, because I'm obsessed with sweet potatoes. Okay, I eat so many sweet potatoes and I just love them. Like you guys need to understand that the Okinawan 90% of their diet was sweet potatoes and they live until they're
It was 84%.
whatever, 80, some say 90, 84 to 90% of their diet. And they live to the 90s and hundreds. They're doing fine. That's not why I eat this way. I'm not like, oh, that's why I eat this way. I just love sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Identify as
Now I get my sweet potato box from Nourish. I get my Japanese sweet potato box
from
Nourish. And I
nourishfoodclub.com.
just feel like I am the most blessed because of
Oh,
that.
we didn't even talk about that. Nourish Food Club, one of the coolest parts about this year was developing this partnership of right now it's 9 small regenerative farmers that have these like beautiful little gardens. And so we have produce and it's like seasonal produce, so we're very much working with the seasons. It's been so fun, like so fulfilling. And the produce tastes so different because it's coming from healthy soil, it's not industrial monocropping landscapes. I taste a difference and I notice a difference.
So if you want to get Japanese sweet potato, we will be having Japanese sweet potato box, or I guess they're mixed sweet potato boxes. So they have some orange, they have Japanese, and they have Hana. And we will be having these boxes going into the winter because potatoes do really well over the winter. But while you're thinking of your answer, I'm just gonna people are
No,
gonna
I already know my answer, but
hold on, but I just don't want people to think I only eat sweet potatoes. Like, hold on, because they will think that. So I also eat other things. I love a good fruit, a good seasonal fruit right now. I
are
also
you a
eat
goat? Are you a
non-seasonal
goat?
fruit.
Raw goat milk?
I love a good raw goat milk. I love a good steamed vegetable. I do oats. I love a good regular potato. We have a regular mixed potato box too. Guys, it makes the best rice ever. And I do a lot of I lean towards like ground beef. I do a lot of side salads and stuff, some tomatoes from Ashley's garden, blessed. And that is I'd say the bulk of my nutrition right now. And it's
I
been
would
like that
say
for a few months.
I definitely, am leaning towards, like, a very French cuisine right now.
Okay.
Um, I am really into, like, sourdough bread and, um, eggs, butter, broth, soups, stews, um, I would say, French-ish cuisine
Francesca.
vibes. Yeah, and I saved a lot of my garden harvests, like my berries and stuff, so I'm excited to make, like, jams and my grapes. I still need to thaw out my grapes and my berries to make, like, jams
Yeah, that'd be good.
and jellies throughout the winter. But, I mean, honestly, I think for me, my staples remain, which are my meat. I try to cycle through beef, pork, and chicken because they each provide unique B vitamins, so I like to cycle through them. Beef, chicken, pork, and then dairy on the regular and eggs, so, like, those are foundational, and then the I still do consume a lot of carbohydrates, but the types of carbs just fluctuate with the season, so now we're heading into winter. I don't have watermelons growing in my garden, and so I'm eating more, it is citrus season though, so this is something that I think people, like, poo-poo, but our ancestors have actually, like, imported food for a while now, so citrus has been, like, a key component of regular cuisines, even if they don't grow citrus right there. I like eating food that is in season at that time of year, so we have these seasonal produce guides. I think we have a download on our website. Seasonal produce guides of what's in season each month. I do really well with that because I think that food that is consumed when ripe is easier to digest, like, the fibers are easier to digest. The plant creates enzymes that are at peak when it's ripe that helps you, like, better digest and absorb. And so I really like eating things, like, seasonally, but I I would say starches, potatoes, sourdough flours, and, of course, squashes,
Oh,
and then
gosh.
stone fruits and citrus are kind of right now, yeah.
Yeah. I've got some persimmons ripening.
Oh, is it persimmon season?
Yeah, well, in December, like the winter is persimmon.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. So, and I also eat out of season.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I just noticed I'm at peak digestion, and I feel my best when I do. Like,
yeah, I mean,
for sure.
it's right.
Yeah.
So this has been fun. I'll see
Yeah,
you in a few hours.
Rooted in Resilience is back, and where this season is going to start is, Kathleen is coming back, and we're resuming the Minnesota starvation experiment discussions. We've got 7 more podcasts to finish up the 2,000 to 2,500 page manual of the consequences of undereating for long periods of time. So we're gonna be finishing up that. We're gonna be talking about, like, real world fat loss results, like what has actually worked for people in this season. And we're gonna have favorites of Georgie Dinkov back on. Hopefully we can get Jay Feldman back on and Dr. Anobi and a few other guests. So lots of fun and exciting things. And we'll be sharing in 2026 our move towards this family compound that we'll be developing over time.
Yeah, and hopefully a fertile year.
2026, the season of fertility.
Let's do it, ladies.
All
All
right.
right, and men.
Stay rooted in resilience.